Dupetas, today on Dupe by the River, we're going to talk about that brand new signing. Yes, we actually have a signing here in Dupe Nation. We're also going to look back at what happened at Soldier Field as the Union got a big win against the Chicago Fire. We're going to look ahead at tomorrow night as the Philadelphia Union will hosting off against those pesky New England Revolution. You best believe I got something to say about that. And don't go anywhere, guys, because you do not want to miss this episode of Dupe by the River. And let's get this started, guys. And stop! And that is right. Welcome everyone to Dupe by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union, brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Want to welcome. This is actually part 2, guys. This is take number 2 here. Of course, you know, gotta love technology. We forgot to hit the live button. Shouts to my man, Justin Freiberg, aka Gazdag, fan group president. Justin, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Hey, take 2. We've got all the technical glitches out, but we're ready. We're ready to break down some.
We're warmed up.
Some signings. We're ready to break down a nice win in Chicago, and we're also ready to talk about that team in Massachusetts, the Revolution. Yeah, those guys.
I got my words with them, man. I got my words with them. Our other Dupe expert here. Please welcome my man Tim Lovingood. Tim, I hope you're doing better than Crew Nation. I don't know if we can call him that anymore.
No, it's just Columbus Nation.
It's Columbus Soccer Club.
That is embarrassing, man.
Yeah. I mean, like I love how all of their branding says, you know, we're still the Crew, but then the Crew's not in their name.
Can't have it both ways, guys.
Anyways, I'm excited to talk about the Philadelphia Union, who tweeted out today, you know, about their badge and how awesome it is and how perfect it is. So I don't know if it's the badge's birthday. You know, this is when they unveiled it years ago. So, you know, they're just, you know, showing some love for that, but also throwing some shade at Columbus a little bit right now.
It's like those early MLS teams. It's just they don't get it. Like, why fix something that's not broken? And so learn a little lesson there, Columbus and Chicago. Yes, I'm taking shots at you, Chicago, as well. Yes, guys. First off, guys, I want to welcome everyone that's on here, whether you're on from YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Thank you so much for hopping on in, Chase. My man, Chase, I really appreciate the love here, my man. Thank you so much, man. Yes, the man bun today. Not a lot of time to do the hair, but we're rocking with my dupers here, with my fellow dupers. Guys, before we move forward, please do not forget to subscribe on El Parcero's Philly YouTube channels, where we put all of the Dupe by the River video portions. And then if you guys listen, if you want to listen to it later, I'm the same way. I have my rotation of podcasts that I listen to. Wherever you stream podcasts, you can find Dupe by the River. Make sure you subscribe there as well. Apple, Google, Spotify, they're all there for you. Before we get into kind of what's been going on with the team, real quick, I just wanted to say, first off, congratulations to 2 close friends of the podcast. First off, our girl, Morgan. Morgan is now graduated from college, and she's now working for the USL. Is that correct?
Yeah, she's a functional adult. She will be moving down to Tampa, I believe, in July. Shouts to Morgan. Which if y'all aren't doing anything next Sunday, I believe we're doing a little shindig for the DC game and also to celebrate Morgan's birthday. Awesome. But shouts to our favorite Union Ford Dog. Morgan keeps it real.
Yes, we appreciate her very much, and also want to congratulate from the Cooligans, Christian Polanco. Man is officially off the market, kind of like Gazdag, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, I saw that, and I wish him congrats. And I asked if Nutmeg, if his dog, is going to be the ring bearer. I said it's
that's the only option.
Like there's it's legitimate. That, or if Alexis wants to be the flower guy and start frolicking.
You gotta be the best man.
I mean, listen, Alexis, I know you can frolic. I want to see some practice. I believe you would be a good flower guy.
Yes, he absolutely would. Imagine that guest list there. Megan Rapinoe, Aaron West, like the whole U.S. women's team is going to be there.
It could be. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, a couple MLS goats probably going to be there as well. Jimmy Boy probably is going to be there. So
Oh my
He's gonna look real fly.
Star-studded event.
it's going to look better than Christian. Let's face it. Heather, our beautiful Heather, welcome. It is awesome seeing you here. Thank you so much for tuning on here today. But like I mentioned, Gazdak, yes, guys, we have a signing. We got a signing here. Could this be the America Slayer? I don't know about that, but we do have someone to talk about here. So Daniel Gazdak, obviously not a lot of people know who he is. He's 25 years old. He's a Hungarian international. He has played for Hungary, the senior team. He is a central attacking midfielder. He's a forward. He's a holding guy. He's an attacker. Let's just put him as that. He is an attacker, kind of like in football. You got those little scat guys, those receiver running backs. He's a weapon. Yeah, he is an attacker. So it raised the question because obviously, he plays a position that we do have a lot of depth already. You add to it. Like I said, don't really know much about it, but what I have seen from my early observation, the guy clearly has some creativity. He has that skill. It was pretty evident on some of these goals that I saw. And now, when it comes to soccer, it's like the ace in baseball. I really don't like to use this term often, but the term killer. Yeah. In some of the stuff I saw some things that I see from killers. I've yet to see him play in the blue and gold, so I'm not going to go there yet. But the guy seems like he has some of these attributes. So I want to raise the question first off to my man Tim here. Timmy boy here. So look, why did the Union go after Daniel Gazdak? Like, we know his position, central attacking midfielder. We already kind of have a log jam there as well. And he is Hungarian. No disrespect to Hungarian soccer players. Listen, I'm sure you guys are ballers out there. But let's face it, Hungary's not known for producing soccer stars here. So why did Daniel Gazdak sign?
It's a quintessential Ernst Tanner signing. First off, this guy fits everything that the Union want from an attacker, and like you mentioned, he's creative. We saw, if you're a Union fan, you've seen the highlight reels that have been going around all day of the crazy goals that he scores. He has some skill on the ball. Even Jim Curtin said in press conference today, he was supposed to just have a press conference about the Revs game. But of course, reporters are going to ask him about Gazdag. You just signed someone for $1.82 million. He said, Curtin said, we're going to get him on the ball. Like when he's in the team, there's no other way around it. When we have an attack, we want him on the ball. So he is that killer. We've seen it with the way he's played this past season. Right. And the thing about him that makes him a perfect Union player is not just the fact that he can score goals, not the fact that he can play different positions, which are all huge, and the Union need that. Obviously, that's why they went and got him. But he's a gritty player. He played every match. He played every match for his club over in Hungary this season. He started each match. He played 90 minutes, I think 23 out of the 30 games from what I saw, which is ridiculous. Like, the dude has a motor. He's dedicated to his club. If he can bring that over to the Union have hit a home run. And if you look at Ernst Tanner signings, there's really been maybe 2 misses in all of the signings that he's made with Wooten and Mr. Sexy Season. So, you have to trust Ernst at this point in whether or not you know who this player is. He's going to be playing on the world stage here in June. Reportedly, he's going to be with Hungary in the Euros. Hungary is in a group of death with France, Germany, and Portugal.
Let's go. Are you kidding me? That's his group.
It's unlikely that he's going to get out of the group. But who knows if he goes in there and impresses, if he plays well and scores some goals against some of the best players in the world, and then he comes to the Union, more people will know his name, I would think. But we'll have to see what that looks like there. I don't know if he's going to start. Not an expert in Hungary football by any means, but yeah.
Tim, you know how my crazy mind works, dude. Just imagine, in that group, he shows up a little bit on Cristiano, and then Timo Werner, and then France. Anton Griezmann. I don't know who's going to be on that France team now, but dude, that's kind of cool. And I forget Mbappe.
Come on,
Mbappe. It's going to be the next GOAT. Yeah. So now, okay. So I want to move towards the play on the pitch. Justin, look, I said it. He seems to play a position where Jamiro has been thriving this season. It's kind of hard to take him away. Fontana is still here. I mean, we haven't even seen Paxton even see the pitch. I think he was only 18 once this whole year between both competitions. Where's this guy going to fit when he comes here?
He's gonna be the starter. Like it.
Yep.
So I understand what you're saying about Jamiro and about Fontana, but I think the difference and the thing that we have not seen from a number 10 overall from the Union in their history, and especially since they've adopted the high pressing system, you don't have a number 10 that's a straight up lethal shooter. I mean, Gazdag's numbers. So in 30 games, he had 13 goals and 6 assists. Now, this was, kind of split between striker, the 10, and the 8, which is why Jim said what he did. And if you look at the highlights, and now you know me, I like to do deep dives on highlights. I like to look at, I look at how a player, works with in combination, because as an attacking player, you want him to be able to do that 1-2, be able to shoot it, but also be able to, really drive the ball up the pitch. And Jim said it. He wants him on the ball. And I looked at the highlight videos that everyone's seen, and from what I can see, one, his technical ability is next level.
Yeah.
I mean, the one of the highlight goals in the video, the goal that the Union used to promote him, was a bit of a give and go outside the box. And then he takes the ball, he cuts it in, he gives another 1-2, and he's in tight on the goalie. Then he does a little right to left and chips it. I mean, in a very, not even a 2-yard space. I mean, he was right on, the goalie was right on top of him. And that is the one thing that I've noticed, besides his ability to shoot from just about anywhere, is his ability to pick the ball up out of his feet. And can I say how many of the goals that I saw from him that seem to be chips? So he's not afraid to just put a little on it, to be a little cheeky with it, but also to be a killer, to shoot the ball. And that is the one thing that, outside of, I'm going to say, maybe Marco, we really haven't had a consistent shooter at the 10. If you go back to, and I was reading, shouts to our friend of the Union Happy Hour, Jonathan Tannenwald, and I was reading JT's article about Gazdag and about what the difference is between him and several other attacking forwards from the Union. So you go back to Dochkow. Dochkow was more of a passer. He didn't really shoot much. He liked to pass it. The problem was there wasn't much finishing. Then you have Marco. Marco really, he was a good shooter, but between injuries and the suspension and Brendan's rise, he really wasn't able to establish himself. Then you have Brendan.
He liked to shoot for himself too.
Yeah, but Brendan had to be taught essentially that shooting aspect. It took him really, I would say, up until the middle of last year to really get that shooting edge, and he still has a little bit to work on. He's better at it, but he has a lot to work on. And then you say, okay, well, it's taking away from Fontana and Jamiro. Fontana, I love Fontana. He is an amazing shooter. The problem is his consistency. He just doesn't appear to put it together game on game. He'll have a few games where he's hot, and then it'll go cold, and then he'll disappear. I mean, there were moments we saw it in the first leg against Saprissa. He just was non-existent.
Yeah.
Like, he just disappeared. I didn't see him. Now, I know he's playing out of position, but even as an attacking player, like, he just did not come onto the ball, did not really influence the game. And Jamiro, I just think Jamiro is better deeper on the field. I think he's better at bringing the ball up.
Yes.
And if when you want your 10, you want someone who's going to be more lethal outside the box. And to be honest, Gazdag checks all the boxes that I want to see in an attacking player. And because of his ruthless ability, yeah, listen, Hungary's not extremely known for players, but I mean, he's going to be playing along, Daniel Soboslai, who under Jesse Marsch made developed really well at Salzburg, is now at Leipzig. Yeah. Has had some injury problems, but he'll be on the Hungary roster. Like, I think that Gazdag really appears like the guy that we've been clamoring for because he can play as a striker. Like,
yes,
if you want Jamiro and Leon and everyone on the field, but you also want Gazdag on the field. If Kasper needs a rest, you put Kasper and Serge. You put Gazdag and Kasper, or Kasper and Sergio and Gazdag. Like, it gives you a lot more options to
I like that.
To really have some rotation on your roster.
Jim gets
and at the same time, it gives you more of a dynamic threat. If you look at every team that has won the MLS Cup going back at least the last 5 years, the one thing that has made each team deadly is that ability to have a lethal number 10. You go back all the way to Giovinco with Toronto. You have Nico Ladero with Seattle. You have Lucas Zelarayan. You have Miguel Almiron. I mean, you just keep going.
You're saying that Gazdag could be that good?
Easily.
I think he can be the type of impact player that the Union have been looking for. I know that sounds like a lot of pressure on one guy, but I mean, did anyone know who Miguel Almiron or Nico Ladero were before they entered the league? In these circles, not really. Like, even Lucas Zelarayan, I didn't know much about him before he came from Liga MX. Like, there's a lot of players.
His league is a little bit more watchable than the Hungarian league.
But I think, like, it doesn't have to be a notable name to be that kind of an impact player. And the way that everyone seems to be, being through. I mean, I could tell Ernst and Jim were both crazy excited about having him come because they know the ability that he possesses. And I mean, Tim talked about it in his article, which if you haven't read Tim's article, when listening to this, go read it. They even said Gazdag could be here even by next week.
Yeah, not even. Jim said, can I quote him real quick? Because I love this quote. This quote literally made me jump at work when I saw it. He said, "Our goal is to get him here as quickly as possible to try to get him for DC United, which is May 23rd. Maybe even New York Red Bulls, which is this Saturday.
Saturday.
I mean, he said, we want him here before the June break, essentially. So
you have
Jim wants him here before June, before the Union go on the break and before Gazdag will go on national team duty. Now, will that happen? Who knows? All the visa stuff. That's the main.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. So essentially, Jim wants him within, because your last game before the break is March 30th against Portland, which apparently has been moved to a national televised game, and it's not 5:30 anymore. It's a 7:00 game.
Yes.
But just when I heard that, and you know how the Union's visa process has been for getting players.
That's what I want to know. How can this happen so quickly when we've had all these hiccups?
I have to imagine if Jim is confident that he's going to be here more quickly, I have to imagine the paperwork might have gone through. I mean, like I said, the rumor started when I think there was four or five games left in the Hungarian team's season.
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago. It was about a month ago, maybe. I
have to imagine maybe they got the ball rolling on the paperwork.
Yeah. And
then kind of when it became official, we're like, okay, we already have all this. Here's, like they started kind of getting it going, because otherwise, if Jim said, I'm sure if that wasn't true, Ernst probably would have told Jim before that, like, don't say, anything about when he's going to be here. So, I mean, now, is he going to be here? Like I said, his season just ended. He has the Euros. I don't want to overload the guy. I mean, he does appear to be a workhorse.
Yeah.
But if he could be here for maybe a game or so, just to kind of show us what exactly.
Even off the bench, I would take an appearance off the bench.
Yeah, give me like 25, 30 minutes against Portland before he goes off to Hungary, like the Euros, just to see what.
Yeah.
Or even if he gets here for DC, like just give me like substitute appearances in both games. Like I don't need him to start. Just give me, show me, why we shout out the second highest transfer fee in Union history. Which also, fun fact, with the numbers, everyone thought he was supposed to be a DP player. He is not. And after doing some digging between Paul Tenorio, JT, going through the powers that would be with the people that would know more of the budgetary stuff, it appears to be some Ernst is working some allocation money voodoo wizardry, because don't know what Gazdag will be making, but they must have been able to have enough money over both years, because it's a 2-year deal with a club option, I believe, for a third year.
Third and fourth year.
Yeah, they have to have some money to, or if they eventually make him a DP when they're kind of like, but like, so it's wild that, we talk about we want a big signing, we want a DP signing. Well, this guy technically would have been a DP if we hadn't used all this allocation money.
This signing reminds me, it's almost eerily similar of Jamiro Montero. Like, Jamiro was brought in, it was the middle of 2019, right? Or the early stages.
Wasn't it the beginning? It was beginning. It was like a 6-month loan. It was like a
couple games into the 2019 season.
Bumped up to 6 months, and then it was a whole season, and then they weren't sure if it was going to be permanent.
So it was a little bit different that way. In this case, the Union signed this player, so this player is under contract for 2 years, which is awesome. But the timing is a little bit different, and Jamiro was brought in not as a designated player, but then got raised to that now. So I would think, if Gazdag comes in and does some really good stuff and is worth more money, then if the Union want to keep him, they'll raise that status up to designated player, especially if he brings some silverware, because that's what I'm thinking about.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations. You guys both gave me goosebumps. Okay. I'm excited for this guy. Just hearing what you guys are saying, I'm like super excited for this guy. So I want to get back real quick to Fontana.
Yeah.
Is it leaning more towards he could be sold not to Europe, but to another MLS team?
I don't think so. I think this again, this is not a poor indication on Anthony's part.
No.
I think what this signing is showing is, listen, I think Fontana, listen, you can develop a role as a super sub, and that's what Fontana is. He could still be sold to Europe, and listen, we don't forget he's 21 years old. Like he's still, if you give it a year or two, you sell him off to now. Is he making a big league move? No, but is he making maybe? I mean, maybe.
What kind of deal is he on now?
I don't know.
I actually don't know. I'd have to look it up.
I assume it's going to be like a mid-level deal.
Yeah,
like it's. I mean,
what did Trusty get from in that Colorado deal? It was like around 800.
No, 600, 650.
Yeah,
something like that. But I don't think it's going to be an interleague move. I really do think he could be maybe like a second division German, or maybe even champion. Like I really do think he could be a pivotal player on it. I just think that he hasn't shown enough consistency. Again, not that he's going to make a move soon, but I feel like with Fontana, it's just you're remember for as long as he's been here, he's still a young player. So I think we're captivated with this mindset that if a player doesn't,
this is why we love Ian right
automatic. Okay, so I wasn't sure if I was trying to remember but like we're on this mindset that if a player doesn't ship out and develop by like 20 years old, they're washed up and that they're like
Yeah, nah.
it's
I don't think it was
like,
washed up.
like that that the player like he's going to be an MLS lifer and that like and it's a mindset that unfortunately I think is very US soccer fan like pre 2015.
Yeah.
Because I know over obviously the last half a decade we've had a boom in development as we had to make up for essentially a lost generation of developing. So I do think Fontana could go to Europe. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I just think that being that super sub really right now seems like his role.
And
Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
I don't think it's really a bad thing right now for him to be a super sub to really develop with Gazdag. Gazdag's only a few years older than him, but he has that skill. And our boy Zach Labosa was actually putting this in our group chat earlier. He said, Fontana is going to be able to, practice alongside this guy who is super creative, who has the fitness, who is consistently scoring no matter where he is and where he's playing as an attacking player. If you learn from that, even from a guy who's just a few years older than you, like that's going to do wonders for your development. And if you are labeled as the super sub who's coming in for a player like Gazdag or another player who has to come off the pitch, and you can ball out then and show your skill and show how you're developing, then it just shows the level of growth. Because, not every homegrown is going to be like the Brendan Aronson or Mark McKenzie. Yeah. This is Fontana's 4th season, and he's kind of a veteran. He's the veteran homegrown.
That is so true.
He's a leader showing these other kids how to come up and play in Major League Soccer. So, he has his spot, and I don't think he's, lost anything. If he ended up being an MLS lifer for the Union, I'm down for that. But I don't think the Union would sell him to any other MLS club. Okay. I think the only reason they would let him go is if it would be to a team in Europe. And it's going to take a little bit more time just because of the position. And, Brendan stole the spotlight, basically a year and a half from him in there. And you can't blame the Union for playing Brendan over Fontana.
No, so, not at all.
There's still plenty of time for him.
When I watch Fontana, I feel like he's like a one-trick pony. But the thing is this one trick is really freaking important in this sport. But yeah, he's great. Like he's great in that like final third area. He obviously has like a knack of getting that ball in net when he's hot. But yeah, shouts to Zach. What's going on, Zach? Yeah, guys, make sure you read his stuff too. His stuff is pretty darn good. But yeah, that's kind of what I see right now. I would love to see him, even get more active on the high press as well. I don't feel like he's as active there. And just some more off-ball stuff. But no, I think he's not in his final form yet, and I think he'll definitely get there. But yeah, so Daniel Gazdag, we'll wait and see. May 23rd, that is I guess right now is the one.
Hopefully May. I think if you're a Union fan, hopefully you see him in May. If not, well, you got something to watch in the European Championships now. So
Still buy your tickets. Buy your tickets.
When he balls out all over Cristiano, makes him look silly. You're like, that's
our boy.
That's a Philly guy there, man. In the Euros.
That's our guy. You're like, I know that guy.
Have we ever had a guy on the Union playing the Euros at the same time?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think
this is crazy, man.
2018.
Boric came after, and so did Harris. Harris played in them as well.
Okay.
Wasn't Harris? Didn't he play against Messi was that the 2018 World Cup?
It was the World Cup. Yeah.
So we've had some players ball out, but in the group of death that they have, he's going to really be given a chance to show what he's made of.
Oh, I can't wait. Philly's going to be on the map again. Let's go. All right, let's move on. Speaking of going to that DC match, it was announced that there will be full capacity coming soon at Subaru Park. Won't be that match. It will be June 23rd against the Columbus Crew, Columbus SC, whatever you guys
want. The team that does not really have a name.
The team formerly known as the Crew.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as the Crew.
That is terrible. But yeah, so full capacity. So about 19,000, I guess, is our full capacity.
19, yeah, give or take.
Yeah, 18 and some change. Yep.
Okay. Look. I mean, I will say that this might come in handy come Club America. I don't want to talk about too much on this, but all I will say, guys, is please just respect your fellow fans. Please. Not everyone, just because you don't believe in masks, just because you don't want to get your vaccination, please just respect your fellow fans. That's all I will say. That's my only concern about this situation here. I do understand we have to get back to normality. That has not, hasn't gone over my head. I'm slowly trying to get myself back to normality. But yeah, it's just a little bit of a concern, just because we're not everyone's alike, and that could be problem at times here.
Which there will be. So, despite so there's a caveat to that, as well as 75%, I believe, will be for the Portland match, because I believe towards the end of the month, I believe they're starting to open up even further. Dan, that's why we love you.
I didn't say it.
We didn't say it. If it's a visual medium, if you saw it, you saw it. But no, so 75%.
Yeah, if you're listening to the podcast, you don't get this. You don't understand why I'm interrupting right now.
Yeah, so 75% of the stadium should be in time for the Portland game. But even with the full capacity, Governor Wolf has still said the mask mandate will still be around until 70% of the yes, support our Patreon. No, I'm just joking. But
so OnlyFans.
The mask mandate will still be around until 70% of all Pennsylvania residents are vaccinated. Now, as of right now, I believe around 65 to 66% of the state has at least received one dose. So the mask mandate that'd probably be at least for another month, maybe 2 months, until that mask mandate is lit. Now, if you're like myself, you might definitely still wear your mask at least through like September or October. Yeah. But it's again, we're gonna be a bit more normal with some caveats. And everyone, that's what we hope for. Just be patient, and we'll be the soup will be rocking once again.
Yes,
and
sir.
One other nice thing about what the Union are doing is they also will have socially distanced sections. So if you're a fan who already has season tickets or has had season tickets since 2020 and you haven't really been able to use them, and now you're going to get your chance, they will have ways for you to contact people. If you wanted to be in a socially distanced section to still feel maybe more safe that way, then you can reach out and figure that out. We'll have to see how that goes. Obviously, everyone, right. even now with social distancing at Union games, there's been some instances, with all the away fans and things like that. Hopefully that doesn't happen now with the Super back up. But yeah, I want to echo what John said and just say, yeah, if you're really happy about this, be really happy about it. It's awesome that we can get to this point. If you're nervous, that's okay too. I'm most definitely nervous. I'm still going to be there. I'm going to be there no matter what, either in the stands or in the press box, wherever I can be, and I'm going to love it. It's going to be great to see a full stadium again.
Now, if I may give a quick shout out to one of our great first ladies of DOOP by the River, Tim's beautiful wife, Courtney. She's the real one. That's kind of where I went with, just seeing how she, put out her concern, which she had every right to feel. And yeah, that at the end of the day, it's just about respect. Just respect your fellow fan. That's all. That's all it is. That's all.
Although Courtney and Tony, shout out to our for trying to throw me under the bus here. Let's not come back to normal. That Tony, I'm watching you. You're right behind me. I better. For
the listeners and watchers out there, the reason that this interaction happened on the Twitters is because in past times when things were normal and Justin would sit behind me and my wife and our friend Tony, who was back there as well. Justin is a bit of a loud yeller and swings a little bit when he
would have never guessed.
So a little bit brain
loud. I do get loud.
You get loud, and sometimes there's a little bit of precipitation that comes out with that. That's all I'm going to say.
I didn't know it was raining in Chester. I'm not loud at all. I don't partake in any of that. Just kidding, guys. Absolutely kidding.
Oh man.
This episode went way overboard.
The listeners are going to be very confused. If you're confused and you're listening to this recorded podcast right now, go check out El Parcero Philly's YouTube page.
Oh my god!
No choice. Dan, I appreciate you for the entertainment here tonight, my man.
Love you.
But guys, we do have to talk about matches.
Yes.
So we do. So the Union finally got a win, the first win of the MLS season. It kind of went over my head because, we're kind of in the semifinals of the CONCACAF Champions League. No big deal. But yes, we got a big 2-0 win over the Chicago Fire in Soldier Field. I always will say it's always good seeing Jim embrace his old club. Like, he did play a good amount of his career there. I appreciate his appreciation for Chicago. It's always really cool. And plus, his drip game. Oh, my God. Dude.
Oh, my God.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But yes, a much-needed win. At time, we talked about it in the preview as well. Like, Chicago, you see it there. You see they have something there that can be a team that can make the playoffs, but they just are not strong up here. Mentally, they lack it. There was times where I felt like they were going to get a goal on the Union and they were going to creep up on us, but then Union, being the strong mentally team that they are, the physical team that they are, really took the game. 51st minute goal by Corey Burke, who again killing the Chicago Fire. Great. Jamir Montero with a nice assist, and then in the 60th minute, Kai Wagner a little chip in. Jakub Glezes with the little header, put the head right in the right spot on the ball. Man, Jakub Glezes has been playing fantastic, but a big 2-0 win here. Justin, obviously Tim and I we did a little post game on Instagram Live, but wanted to get your thoughts, man. What did you see? How did the Union win this match? Don't just say they just played the Chicago Fire.
I mean, I think they won the match first off by their coach wanted to shake hands with Jim. Which, if you didn't see that tweet, throw in some serious shade at you know who. We listen. We all know who that was directed at. But no, listen. Chicago. I don't like. We said this on the preview. We don't know what to expect with Chicago because it feels like on paper they really should be a better team, and the possession numbers were pretty close, but the Union just felt like with the way that the Chicago just didn't seem to generate any real chances. Like, Andre had to make a couple saves, but it wasn't anything that you felt like, oh my God, like the Union are on. Like, they got to a bit of a slow start, which I will say I think is a bit of a problem for the Union that I'm not appreciating. It was kind of being on the back foot for the first 20, 25 minutes. Like, it kind of does worry me a little bit, even with the way they've been playing, in CCL. But I think Chicago, we said that Chicago was the right team for the Union to kind of figure out how they wanted to play. And once again, Leon puts on a great performance at the 6. Jack McGlynn having a few chances. I mean, Jack looked good.
And his first start.
I really do hope he can start to get more minutes because out of the homegrowns that signed their deals, Jack was the one. Everyone talked about Paxton this, Paxton that. Well, Jack was actually the one. I mean, we talked about how there's certain people within the Union group who say, well, Jack's going to be like we said that with Brendan, like Brendan's going to be big, and we were saying Jack. People said don't sleep on McGlynn, like he's gonna be a real contributor over the next few years, and he's definitely in the limited minutes he's gone. I mean, he came on against Atlanta in the second leg and nearly scored.
Yeah,
like he came on and instantly made an impact. And if you can make an impact at that kind of it was a show. And also, I think Jim wanted to rotate the roster, given he knew he had 2 games next week. I think he wanted, which surprisingly, I would admit, I didn't expect Jim to actually rotate the roster. I'll give Jim credit for that, because that's one thing that I have been critical on him. Despite the Union success, I have been critical on Jim not really rotating the roster. But overall, I mean, again, the back line, I mean, a clean sheet, which only the second one this season, but the attack looked good. I mean, they definitely had a few chances that they could have converted in the first half. The second half, you come in and the first goal with Jamiro, and combining with Corey, essentially was on a long throw.
Yeah,
I will say that is one thing that Bizo does well. Besides getting up and down the flank, he does have a pretty good long throw, and that can create some difficulties in the box. And he gives it to Corey. Corey dishes it off to Jamiro. Jamiro flicks it back, and Corey just comes in sliding and powers that thing past Bobby Shuttleworth.
Yeah,
I mean, that thing had some serious heat on it for being just 8 yards away. It
was a hell of a left-footed strike too, off his weaker foot.
Oh yeah, and he did it perfectly under the crossbar and was right by Shuttleworth, but had so much heat on it, there was no shot at that. And then
he was determined.
Yeah, and then Glesnes, which again, you talk about players being right time, right place. That ball gets recycled back in from Kai, and Jakob's right there. Like, there's all he. I mean, it's a header, but it actually was a lot more difficult than it looked, because he kind of you see him kind of he turns his whole he kind of had to get himself straight, because he could have hit that just over the crossbar the way he just turned in time to get his body over it and power it into the essentially an empty net. And like I said, I thought of a few other chances from Chicago. It really wasn't a game that overly concerned me. Now, again, I would like to see a little more consistency from the offense, which has been something we've talked about over the first few league games. But now, given that you have this time, before, you don't play CCL again until August, so you have plenty of time to focus on the league. And what I said, you also said Chicago would be a great team to really start to get the ball rolling. And I think that the guys that as we say, there's kind of always that signing boost, like when you just sign a player, and even though they're not there yet, it's kind of like when a team fires a coach and they have that new manager boost. It feels like, at least for that game or two, there's kind of a boost in how the team plays. I think you're going to come out against New England, but I think Chicago is also the perfect setup to really get the ball rolling.
Get the season going again. Get the ball going back into MLS play. Real quick about the Glesnes goal. It never hurts when the back line decides to not step up after they clear a ball. That's all I'm going to say. Chicago. They cleared the ball and they're like, okay, we're good. And then the ball came right back in. They didn't move. But hey, props to Glesnes, like Justin said. That was a really hard header for a center back to turn in. And it ended the game for the Union. So that's all we can.
Man. Tim, let me throw at you. I wanted to know where this team's psyche is right now heading into New England. At the end of the match, you saw Sergio getting into it. I keep losing Sekulic.
Yeah.
And Jamiro backing up him. We saw the whole Gabriel Heinze saga, the way Jim stepped up and the way Ali was right behind him. It feels like every match they're getting into it with a different team. I feel like, throughout the first 10 years, it was always like the Red Bull or our rivals. But now it's like NYCFC, New England starting to become our rival. Atlanta's trying to start one with us as well. Where do you think, what do you think the psyche is right now at the Union?
The Union are a team that other teams don't want to play. They do not like the style of play that the Union can execute. And a lot of it is what some other teams try to do as well. Obviously, we know all about the high press, and that's one part of the game. But the Union, what they do at the end of games is they grind it out. And we've seen it. There's been some hot-headed plays from some players, especially late in games. When you're up 2-0 on the road, and you're a striker, and you're one-on-one with a defender, you kind of have the ball go by him, and you're just trying to nudge past the defender, because that's what happened with Sergio there. And then they got tangled up. We kind of got pulled down. Yellows for both. It's fair.
Right.
Yeah. Then the fighting afterwards, you have to be a little bit careful with. But the Union, we always talk about the Union needing a player who can kind of be that asshole on the pitch and get under the other team's skin. I honestly think the style of play is that. Especially late in games. If the Union are winning late in games, it's not that they're going to look for contact and look to fight and look to do all those things. But if it happens, that's okay. And the team, like you said, the psyche of the team is they're going to step up for their guys. It doesn't matter the situation if they think it's a bonehead move or not. They're going to come and back up their guys. Like you said, Sergio starts fighting with Sakevich at the end there when they got that little tussle, and Jamiro was right there to back him up. Like, they get right into it. Or when Jim literally has a shouting match with another coach and Captain Bedoya is like right there, shoulder to shoulder with him, like, all right, are we going to have to throw fists here? Like, let's go. Like,
I just don't want no piece of Jim.
That's the psyche of this team.
I think we can sum up that energy. It's essentially what Philly is. It's the fuck around and find out.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what this team is now really ingrained itself with. It's like, listen, you step with us. Like, if we're up, we're not gonna start flopping, but we're gonna start challenging you. Like, we're gonna force you guys to hack the crap out of us. Like, that's just. Yeah. But we're gonna take it lightly? No.
As Father Ben would say, everyone versus Philly. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, speaking of bickering, I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth bickering going on tomorrow night. We all know what the match is, guys. I don't think I need to tell you too much about it. It's the New England match. And if you are a diehard 5-for-5 like the rest of us here, we remember how our season ended last year. After winning the Supporter Shield, a trophy, something. We wanted some sort of hardware in that trophy case, and we got one. And we were expecting to go on some sort of an MLS Cup run. And it ended in a first-round adios to those stinking New England Revolution. The team that, let's face it, it's the little bro. It's Harry Potter. It's the team that gets put in the closet from Robert Kraft. No one cares about it You think they disrespect us here in Philly? Oh no, they disrespect those guys even more up there. No one cares about the New England Revolution.
It's the Hufflepuff of MLS.
Oh, be nice to us Hufflepuffs. Leave the Hufflepuffs alone.
I listen, YT man. I appreciate you and I love you, man. I love the support, man. But the Revs are going down tomorrow. It's not just a regular season game. With the first thing I told Justin and Tim when that schedule came out, where's New England? That's all I cared about. Where's New England? And it's here. It is finally here. Unfortunately, I will not be there tomorrow. But I cannot just think about this match and not think about what happened last year. Tim was right there next to me. I think this match it's going to be entertaining. Bruce versus Jim again. Talk about Jim going at it with managers. I can't wait for Jim and Bruce. What was it? We're on to part 3 now, part 4. I can't wait for that as well.
I don't know. I lose
part whatever. There's been a lot.
Yeah. I'm tired of seeing New England. Really.
Same, man. Tim, what I want to ask you, what's kind of the difference from this team now to last year? I know they haven't made a lot of moves, but what's been going on with them now, and what's the difference with this team?
Yeah, I mean, New England is going to play similarly. It's still a Bruce Arena team, so they're going to be in what is probably a 4-4-2 flat 4-4-2 formation. Maybe a 4-2-3-1 if they want to try to get wide, but that's what Bruce Arena does. That's how his teams play, and the Revs have the players for it. They still have Gustavo Bo. Carlos Hill is fully healthy and balling for them. So that's going to be a matchup to watch, whether he's out wide or if he's playing more of a 10 role. It'll be a test for the either the outside back who would be against Wagner if it's out on that wide side. If it's in the middle, Leon Flock, who's going to be playing the 6 again because El Peru is still suspended, is going to have his hands full with him there. So it's going to be tough. I mean, New England, like I said, they roll out the same sort of formation, same sort of players. They have a lot of the players from their 2020 side returning. They added a few players. What's that Icelandic winger who's been starting for them? Trestason, I think is how you say his name. He has some caps for Iceland. I can't tell you if he's looked really good or not. I haven't watched much of New England. I did catch a little bit of the game last week where they lost to Nashville. Credit to Nashville. They got out and scored early, and then Nashville did what they do, and they play really good defense. So New England wasn't able to break them down. In terms of what this game means to the Union, I think even Jim Curtin might try to downplay it a little bit. He said it in the press conference today about the New England match. This isn't a revenge game, is sort of what he said. These are two quote unquote very different teams. With the way they are now this year versus last year, even though New England is pretty much the same team and it's the same coaches. Same styles of play. But I think Jim was trying to play it down a little bit, trying to show that he's not really trying to stoke the flames of that rivalry right now. But it's going to be a competitive match. New England is I think they're tied for second still in the East after the first 4 games. They have 2 wins, a draw, and a loss. So it's still really early in the season. But yeah, it's the Revs. It's always a competitive game. There's always going to be lots of cards and possibly red cards and things like that make the game a little crazy. So it'll be a fun game down at the Zoop tomorrow.
I expect all the fireworks down in Chester, Pennsylvania, my friend. I do. Justin, I heard what Jim said, but I need my revenge, Jimmy. I need it, okay? I did not sleep well a whole week, okay? A whole week I did not sleep well. Thinking about Tajon Buchanan putting one behind my boy Andre Blake, all right? So, how do we beat this team, man? Give it to me.
Basically, you have to shut down Heel. You have to sign Carlos Heel. I mean, the offense revolves around him.
Black Show?
And I think so. I think Leon's going to essentially kind of one-on-one and try to shut him down. Now, what they like to do is sometimes Heel will put it off to Bo, and Bo likes to take those 35-yard shots, even though sometimes they don't really end up doing anything. Yeah. But it draws defenders up, and then they like to throw Dwan Jones or Tajon Buchanan and throw them down, and then cross it into Buxa. I think you have to shut down Heel. You shut down Heel, you force them to be a lot more creative. If you keep it compact and you force them wide, you have the tall enough guys to be able to deal with crosses. I mean, we've seen games where all New England were able to do was really just cross it in, and they couldn't get much. But the times they were able to break the Union down, they went through the middle. Yep. And I think with the way that they've been keeping more consistently, I think they will be able to do that. It's going to be a very tight game. It's going to be a very nerve-wracking game. These games with New England never are pretty. They're always ugly. It's always a 1-goal game, and I really don't think there's much here. Even with they're 2-1-1. They're at 7 points, and Union are at 4 points. Same amount of games. There's only 3 points separating them. It's still very early. I don't really take the record into it much right now, but it's gonna be a tight game as it always is.
You know what's the best part? I found Tajon Buchanan's TikTok. Oh yeah, Tajon, you're gonna get one from me tomorrow, my man. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. All right, guys. Tim, I'll start off with you, man. Tell me what do you feel like this match is gonna go tomorrow, and your final prediction, of course.
I've had this weird feeling and this overly positive feeling on the Union ever since CCL, and I know a lot of fans were kind of, had the polarizing opinions of the Union in CCL versus the Union in the league, and I think that this little run of play that the Union have that started with the Chicago match and end at the end of the month, where then they have a long 2-week break, is an opportunity to go on a bit of a streak and to rack up a lot of points against mainly Eastern Conference teams, as they mainly play against the Eastern Conference this year. So I think the Union continue to roll on and they get a win. I think it's going to be 2-1. I think, like Justin said, it's going to be close the entire time. I wouldn't be surprised if the winning goal comes inside of the last 10 minutes. I'm not going to put a player to it because I think it could come from someone ridiculously not used to scoring. That's how these games always go, right? You see players who don't score much get goals. So I see the Union winning 2-1. They roll into the weekend against Red Bull.
So what you're telling me is I'm going to drive my girlfriend and her brother crazy tomorrow night.
It's going to be a rough game. Yeah.
Justin, man, what do you think? How you feel tomorrow?
I'm feeling pretty good. Like Tim, like with the a lot of fans have been kind of negative even before Chicago. I've been in the mindset that like they're focusing on CCL. They're focusing on CCL. They're doing really well in CCL. Now that CCL has a long break, you saw in Chicago what they can do. And like I said, Bruce Arena's team's always chippy, always ugly. It's going to be tight. I think it's a win. I think the same scoreline that Tim has, 2-1. And I'm going to say the man, it's going to be a goal, a late goal from the man that gives Matt Turner nightmares. It's going to be another super sub goal from Mr. Anthony Fontana.
Oh, no.
It's going to
Font's going to get him again.
It's going to be another Font banger. And it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like an 87th minute outside the box. He's gonna take another bounce. He's just gonna just blast it to Kingdom Come. And I would love for a late Fontana goal right in front of the river end and a lot of stadium just to go nuts. Because listen, I would have loved to have been there last year when he scored that goal in stoppage time. I imagine the stadium would have been straight up like the stadium could have registered on the Richter scale with how loud and how much pressure there would have been just exiting the stadium. But I think Matt Turner's gonna have more nightmares about Anthony Fontana.
Dude, Robert Kraft FC, man. That Fontana's got to be number 1 on the hit list. He's been killing them over the past couple matches. Realistically, I do agree with you guys. I think it's going to be a tight match. It is going to be a gritty match, to say the least. It's going to be back and forth. I could see some tempers flaring as well. Please, no red cards. Minimal yellow cards as well. Sometimes you can't control it, but please, minimal cards. I don't need to see more suspensions. I have to deal with no El Brujo for like 2 more matches. So please keep the composure tomorrow. But yes, I agree it will be close. I do see the Union getting I'm going to say a 1-0 win. Okay. I could see I'll go with AK game because I'm going here. I'm going with the Kasper Shabilko game-winning goal. Please, let's put some respect on Kasper's name. He is now leading in the Golden Boot race in Champions League, so some respect on the Polish king here.
Best striker in CONCACAF.
Best striker in North America. Best striker in Poland. Who's that Lewandowski guy they keep telling me? I don't even know who he is. God, this is actually a good question. He is not playing USL. He's still on the team. They're taking it easy, but do we have any word on USL?
Well, I mean, they're the U2, as they're still officially called, are right now mostly just playing friendlies.
Yeah,
I mean, technically they're a team, but I think the MLS, the reserve league, isn't supposed to get going. I think until next year.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So they're kind of in limbo, which kind of makes the Orvets move a little very Inter Miami like.
I think they're trying to sell him. I really do.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting move, but
it's unfortunate.
I think U2. I don't know. I've heard several different things with Paxton. I'm not too worried. I mean, I would like to see him play a little bit, but I think we all might have kind of put the cart before the horse and maybe put a little too much hype on a guy. I mean, who played well during preseason, but like Jim said, they're giving guys plenty of time now.
I mean, to be fair, Orvich was. I was kind of shocked to see this when I was doing my reporting on Gazdag, but Orvich is I think the 3rd or 4th highest signing, like money terms, Union have ever had. So, but I do know there's at least a reserve game going on this weekend that the Union have. So the U2 might not be playing this weekend, but the Union reserves and New York City's reserves, who are not making the 18 for their regular season games this weekend, will be playing each other's against this weekend somewhere. I don't know where. Jim mentioned it in the press conference today that Stuart Finley is coming back off injury and will likely be able to play in that reserve game. So not feature, might not feature this weekend, but will probably play against the backups of New York City.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can talk about this for a quick second here. The cruise. It's a rebrand.
Listen, it's. I think it's a bit of an embarrassment.
Right.
I think you literally are stripping one of the MLS originals. I mean, the thing that defined them was the crew. I still think they really shouldn't have changed from their original logo. I thought one of the original logos was probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
But the crew was defining, and the colors, the black and gold, was defining. They've basically stripped away most of the gold. I mean, there's not a ton of yellow on their jerseys these days. And the crew is, I mean, you can't say Columbus SC and also say we are the crew. Like, you can't have it both ways. And I kind of feel bad. Like, I know a few, Columbus fans, and they're insanely pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to consult. So the big supporter section in Columbus is called the Nordic, and I know some people who are capos in Nordic and who are kind of higher ups, and they're like, yeah, they tried to present it to us, and like we basically said no, it's
and yet they still did it.
Well, they still did it because they obviously you're still gonna do. It's like with Chicago, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
And
why are these teams doing this though? Like, why are they?
It looks like they're trying to compete with the Fusion for an like a esports logo. Like, I'm sorry, that is a horrible looking logo.
Yeah, I know a lot of what MLS is trying to do with a lot of the rebrands that we've seen over the last few years is to try to get in that other millennial crowd that has said that they enjoy watching soccer. So they kind of cater some of the rebranding to that market, essentially. I don't know why the Euro names like the SCs or the FCs really need to be there, but apparently from all of the research that everyone has done, blah, 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 corporate BS, that's why they have made these changes. And it's dumb. Who knows if it's actually going to lead to more people tuning in? They have to, now track that a bunch of teams have gone through these rebrands, and we'll see if it actually works. For my money, I don't think it does. I think history matters for a club, especially in American soccer, where we always try to say in the American soccer circle, like, how can we be more authentic? How can we be different from other soccer? And literally stripping away the names that are, so unique to then have just Columbus SC. It just takes it away. And even looking at that logo and the MLS website, changed it like that. So even like last week's game, when I was just looking at scores, I was trying to find the New England score from last week because I knew they lost. I just wanted to find the result. But the Columbus logo had changed from last week's match, and I'm like, what the heck is? Oh, right, that's now Columbus. Like, it's just.
And it was so abrupt. It just happened like that.
Like 4 games into the season, you rebrand. Like, I get it. Like, you have a new stadium coming up, but like, this is something you do before you start playing matches with a crest.
Columbus fans, man.
Like, do they have the shirts ready to go for this week when Columbus plays? I think they play tomorrow. They play tomorrow. They play Toronto tomorrow. Like, are the crests updated? Like, I'm assuming, but
Tim, that gets me started, which I could go on a very long rant. But like, to sum it up, I don't understand this fascination with SC and FC. Like, this is ridiculous. You try to say, oh, we're pleasing to the common fan, quote unquote the Euro snobs, the people that are watching this league. Like, you know what? Forget that. The crew was original. Like, all these teams are rebranding to Charlotte, football club. Like,
don't say the nickname.
Clit FC.
Yeah, well, I made a joke with someone that if the Philadelphia Union wanted to get on the trend and kind of stick it to it could be Philadelphia Union Soccer Club. I'm not going to say the acronym because it's you know what it would stand for.
Oh, man.
But like this whole SC or FC thing, it pisses me off because you're conforming to a Eurocentric mindset that really isn't there. Like, it's this whole idea that we have to be on par with it. Like you don't see Borussia Dortmund being Borussia Dortmund football club. Like it's not like
SFL
BFC, like
or no BVB.
well, but it's like you're not. There's this whole thing with wanting to be on the like it's what the focus groups. I'm sure they talked to some random dude off the street and was like, would you watch Columbus Crew rebranded Columbus Soccer Club? And the prize guy probably like,
who?
Like maybe like I doubt if they had asked their fans are you okay with taking away the crew, they're gonna say no. And it's ridiculous that this is even being like, this is what I hate about the league, that it's going to this mindset of rebranding. Like I still don't agree with Sporting the Kansas City Wizards becoming the Sporting KC. I think that's a slightly different rebrand than like an SC or an FC.
That was a long time ago, though. That was like very foreign concept when they did change.
Exactly, but
they kind of needed a rebrand.
But at least at the very least, though, they like that was a slightly different rebrand. Like having Sporting in the name was not, or like Real Salt Lake, like that is different. But it just pisses me off, though. It just frustrates me no end.
At the end of the day, you just don't fix what's not broken. That's all it is. Chicago, there was nothing wrong with the crest. All you had to do was move the stinking team, and it was an hour away out of Chicago. You had to just move it closer or inside the city. That's all you had to do. Columbus, the history's there. Columbus is super important to U.S. soccer in general. The whole city, the team is super important to U.S. soccer. You don't need to strip the history away. The history is more important than trying to compete to what Justin and Tim are saying, the appease to the Euro snobs. When you are getting into a business, and I'm not going to get too far off in here, you have to be able to find your customer or client, whatever you want to call it, your audience, and you just attract those people. You don't need to attract every single person. Even with me with Philly sports, like I know people out there don't like the Union, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to stop doing Union coverage because Joe from South Philly doesn't like the Union. I'm gonna find the people who appreciate Union soccer, Eagles football, Sixers basketball, Phillies baseball, and Flyers hockey. And it's the same way, like with the MLS. Stop trying to appease to the Euro snobs who flat out, at the end of the day, if they really wanted to watch the MLS, they will watch the MLS. But they got their Euro soccer, so don't worry about those people. So I agree with you, Ian. You don't have to worry about it. The Union actually put out a good post here today. I think we're going to keep our crest. I think we're going to keep our name as well. So
the Union actually went through a crest rebrand a few years ago, where they updated the crest and made their features more prominent, and that's what a rebrand should be. Philadelphia FC in 3 years. Yeah, I would die. But the funny thing, and the last thing I'll say about Columbus is the fact that they, like Justin said, they literally dropped their nickname, and they said they're still going to use the nickname of Crew, but it's just not in their name anymore. They were rebranded a few years ago from Columbus Crew to Columbus Crew SC. So we always would just refer to them as Columbus Crew or Crew SC. It rolls off the tongue. If you want to be a soccer club, keep your nickname. Cool, whatever. But now you just rebrand from what was one of the best crests in MLS. I really liked Columbus's old crest. To then just take out the nickname, so you're still SC, but now you're just Columbus. Like you're just a city. You don't have an identity.
Can we make a pact on live here? The three of us here, we're going to make a pact together.
All right.
Okay? So anytime on the podcast or if we're on the Twitter account, we will forever refer to Columbus as the Columbus Crew. None of that Columbus SC.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll call them the Crew. Yeah.
Yeah, we will do that to diligence because they forever, for MLS, the MLS family, they are the Columbus Crew, not this bullcrap that they're trying to sell on us here.
Yeah.
But listen, guys, this was a fun episode. We got through everything we need to talk about. We answered some questions, and over about 10 minutes, over an hour, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. It was definitely a lot of fun here. Guys, seriously, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to Ed Parcero Philly's YouTube channel. All the video portions will be on the YouTube channel. Also, make sure to subscribe to DOOP by the River wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it be Apple, Google, Spotify. We are all of them there for you guys as well. ladies and gentlemen, that is Justin Gazdak, Fan Group President in Freiburg. That is Tim Lovinguth. I go by the name of El Parcero Philly. You guys enjoy the rest of your night, and as always, DOOP. Talk to you guys soon.